So as you can see, my engine's gone. So a few weeks ago you would have seen the video where we got the new turbo gear all thrown into this thing and kind of prayed that the engine itself was okay. It turned out that it wasn't, and we had some clunky noises in the bottom end. Since then I've gotten over it a little bit, and we've moved on. We've pulled the engine out, as you can see, pulled it apart, pulled the head off and pulled the bottom end apart, and well, I guess the short answer is, and the thing you're here for, is to see the two bent bananas that we found in the block. So two of the pistons, or two of the con rods are must have just not been able to put up with the boost pressure that we were forcing into the engine. I guess that's kind of what you get when you put a standard engine, bolt a turbo to the side of the thing, take it to the track. It was pumping around about 15 psi, so we were probably playing with fire, let's be honest. 15 psi boost pressure, just too much for the engine. So such is life. We've moved on, and I guess the good news is we've got a bit of a plan. So the engine's been pulled apart. I've got a new set of pistons, a new set of con rods. I've got a Boundary Engineering oil pump to go with it, because that should help with longevity and reliability of the motor. And I'm going to get that all assembled. I'll put the head back on. I've got some valve springs to go in the head, just, you know, to keep the thing sturdy. Nothing crazy. We're still not going for crazy high horsepower, maybe 300-ish, 350 horsepower. Not too much more, because we're starting to push the limits of the gearbox at that point. And we'll get it all back together, put it back in the car. It's not an insane build, it's not going to be excessively expensive. I bought all my parts from Trackspeed Engineering in the US. They were sort of the most cost effective to get them out to here, although you've got a few options. Flying Miata, I think they sell these sorts of parts, 9 for 9 Racing Super Miata, Fab 9, Trackspeed, all of the places. They seem to sell pretty similar pricing, so I just went with Trackspeed because I've gone with them before and I'm happy with their service. So we've started putting all of that together on the side. I'm going to try and get it done as quickly as I can, because I am sick of this thing not being assembled and running. It performed fantastically at Sandown when we last drove it. Before it sort of pumped itself to bits. Well, not literally to bits, but you know, it hurt itself. So that was, I think, in May this year, so we're already a few months since then, and yeah, it ran really well, so it deserves to be running again properly. So that's where we're at. That's kind of the update on the busted motor. Thankfully there wasn't much other damage to the engine other than the two bent con rods. There was no significant damage to the block. There was no significant damage to the crank. It's all going to get machined up, and it's given the pistons. So I've gone with an 83.5mm piston. Again, not significantly different to stock. 9.5 to 1 compression, so slightly less than standard, but that'll mean we can run a little bit more boost to compensate for that and make a little bit more power. Other than that, there's not a lot else to change with the gear. We're sticking with the same GTX 2860 turbo and the Kraken gear. It all seems like it should go really well. Hopefully we'll all just bolt straight back up to this thing. Well, no, definitely we'll bolt straight back up to the thing once I get the engine reassembled and put back in the car. Next thing I'm going to do is start to get work on the valve springs in their head. That would be a nice, easy-ish job to do. And we've gone with Supertex, slightly heavier dual spring. Again, nothing crazy, not too expensive. Actually, they're not cheap. They're about $500 US for the set, which is a little pricey. It's the only real thing we're doing to the head. I'm not going to go doing any insane porting or polishing or anything. I just want the thing running. It doesn't need to be super efficient. The turbo will compensate for some of that. I'm not chasing high numbers, just reliability and sturdiness. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. That's a bit of an update on where the engine's at, and we're going to continue with getting it back up and running and assembled and put together. So stick around for some of those videos in the coming weeks, and hopefully before the end of 2018 the thing will be up and running again. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.